What is going on, everybody? This is GSY2K coming at you, also known as GameSharkY2K, as you can undoubtedly tell from the title and the videos here. That is going to be my alias across the board and numerous other places that you will see it popping up online, but I'll get to more of that in a minute here. So pretty much what I would like to do for y'all is just explain about myself, what this channel is going to be, where it's going, and things that I'll be reviewing, and everything along that line. It's going to be very informal. I'm not going to sit here and edit this video for hours on end. It's just going to be what it is. So, to start off, my name is Clinton. I am originally from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey. I was there until about the age of 13, at which point I moved to upstate New York, to a small rural town. Probably some place that nobody's ever heard of up in Shenango County, New York. I know, right? Nobody's ever heard of that. Anyway, from there, I didn't break into the tech industry quite at that point yet. It took me a while to get where I am now, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. So, I lived in upstate New York till I was about 26 years old, till the year 2016. That's where I resided. So in 2016 is when I decided to go ahead and join the military, the Army more specifically. And I did 2 years in the Army. I did my basic training down in Fort Benning, Georgia. From there, I went to my AIT, my Advanced Individual Training, in Fort Gordon, Georgia. At which point, after I was all said and done with that, which led me to Fort Carson, Colorado Springs. And that's where I eventually resided. I got out in May 31st, 2018, to be exact. So, yeah, about a week ago, it was 3 years. And I started breaking into various different ventures into my life. I worked a little bit in the tech industry, without going into too much detail on that. There's companies that I can't name that I did work for because they don't want me to put that in this video. If I did, I can get some serious backlash on that, so I'm not going to go ahead and name that. But that's kind of when I broke into the tech industry. I realized what I wanted to do. And then it led me to one big company that I did work for quite some time. I want to say it was a little bit over 2 years. Nothing too drastic, but at which point I got tired of the micromanagement and everything along those lines. So that kind of ended for me. Anyway, from which point I started to do what I wanted to do, which is why I am making this video for y'all. So I started kind of working for myself. Not 100%. I still do have to work a small job to support myself and my girlfriend and, our apartment, our housing, our living situation, all that good stuff. Regardless of that fact, after I started doing this, I realized that I wanted to do more with it. I didn't want to just constantly be under somebody's gun, so to speak, I guess you would say. So, after I started going ahead and doing my own thing, I started off with a building block. I started selling on eBay, just trying to get my name out there to do various other things. But I needed a foundation, so that's exactly where I started. I started on eBay selling, and I started doing very well with that. And y'all can catch me on eBay too under the same name, GSY2K, aka GameSharkY2K, and that's GAIM SharkY2K. Just throwing that out there. However, from there, I wanted to break into other things. And who doesn't, right? Any self-supporting content creator, I know there's tons of you guys out there. You have to start venturing into other things. You can't just stick to one thing. Absolutely. Goes without saying. So, here I am. I am going to be starting my own Twitch channel, and I've been building towards that, but that's kind of on the side right now. I'm not too concerned with that because I do other things. Anyway, so from there, this is actually going to be a brand. GSY2K is going to be a brand that I'm going to build. And hopefully, not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or next year, but I want to take it farther. I want to put my name out there, which is again why I am making this video for y'all. So, with all that said, it's just a little bit about myself. I know it was some rambling and yada yada yada, but bear with me. This is my first time ever doing something like this. So, let's break into what we're really going to be doing in this channel. But before I go ahead and do that, I'm going to give you all a little background on my video game culture. Which is what we're here for, right? Game Shark Y2K. Exactly. So when I was younger, the first console I ever owned, and I really, really fell in love with, was the Sega Genesis. Love the Sega Genesis. My top 2 favorite games right off the bat on there would definitely have to be Streets of Rage. The first Streets of Rage. I know everybody loves the second one, so do I, but there's a special place in my heart for the original Streets of Rage. Absolutely. And of course, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 would be my second favorite. So those are my top 2 on the Sega Genesis. So, at which point, after I was all done with the Sega Genesis and I started growing up, my parents went ahead and got me a Sega Dreamcast. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of backlash on this one, saying, the Dreamcast really failed, and, what'd you have that for? I know. I got you. Completely understand. But you want to know what? I loved the Sega Dreamcast. The first game that I owned, actually it wasn't even a game, it was the sampler disc that came with it. I couldn't stop playing that sampler disc. I played that thing night and day till I could afford to get a game. So that leads me into my first real game for the Sega Dreamcast was Sonic Adventure. Absolutely love that game. I can't tell you how many hours I put into that game. It was so awesome that it blew me away at the time. And I did skip the Sega Saturn, if I didn't mention that. I did skip the Sega Saturn. That was a thing that I really didn't get into. But yes, Sonic Adventure was the thing on Sega Dreamcast for me. Couldn't get enough of that. So, that would be my top 1 game on the Sega Dreamcast. My top 2 would be Power Stone. Not Power Stone 2, Power Stone 1. I don't know why, but again, I have a thing for Power Stone 1 over Power Stone 2, just like Streets of Rage 1 over Streets of Rage 2. I guess people are going to argue with me all you want about that. Please try not to leave nasty comments and all that good stuff from there. Alright, so that was Sega Genesis into the Sega Dreamcast era. So now we're going to be leaving that, right? So we're going to go ahead and continue on with what was next. So, after the Sega Dreamcast was all said and done and over with, I kind of ventured out into other things because we all know how the Sega Dreamcast failed and it was discontinued after a very short time. So from there I ventured into different things. This is kind of the point where my parents got off the boat. I was getting a little bit older and they're like, alright, y'all don't really have a need for video games that much anymore. You're getting older, you should be on to other things. So it's kind of up to me to get my own video games. So from there I broke into, the Sony PlayStation era type of things, Sony PlayStation 2 era type of things, and the Microsoft Xbox. The first thing that I did was I worked with my dad one summer and I saved up enough money to buy a Sony PlayStation 2. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. One of my favorite games on the PlayStation 2, still to this day, Zone of the Enders. Don't ask why. I love it. It's awesome. So after the PlayStation 2 had that for a while, all that good stuff, got a Microsoft Xbox, an original Microsoft Xbox. Now a lot of the games I did prefer on the original Xbox as opposed to the PlayStation 2 because undoubtedly due to the extra horsepower it had, the computing power. Things look better. Take for instance, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. PlayStation 2, Xbox. You can take the one, well, I'll take the one on the Xbox over the PlayStation 2 version. But that's all preference. You know what I'm saying? So, from there, it was just kind of like a mixed bag over the years is really what it came down to. I didn't really focus on one thing. I was never a fanboy like, I have to have Sony or I have to have Microsoft. So, after that, I went ahead and I actually didn't break into the 360 generation. I was a little late into that generation of consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. It wasn't until I went off to college, I want to say this was probably about the year 2009, 2010 at this point, I went ahead and got my first Xbox 360. I didn't really have a whole lot of favorite games on there, except for that top one at the time, and everybody knows it, Halo 3. Probably put thousands of hours into Halo 3. Good times right there. After that, I left college a couple years later and wound up getting rid of the 360. Went to a PlayStation 3. And yes, I know, you're all going to say, why'd you go from that to a PlayStation 3 when the Xbox 360 has the PowerPC architecture as opposed to the PlayStation 3 with the Cell Engine RSX and whatever it is, the 8 different SPEs, the synergistic processing elements. I know. Cross-platform games tended to be better on the Xbox 360, undoubtedly, due to the architecture. I got it. It's completely understandable, guys. But like I said, I'm not a fanboy. I am not a fanboy by any means, even to this day. I do not, absolutely not. I am completely unbiased when it comes to that. So after that, I got a PlayStation 3, had that for many years, and I actually wound up selling that, going back to the 360, and then back to the PlayStation 3 as it evolved, is really what it came down to. You know, they had the PlayStation 3 Slim, and then they came out with the Super Slim, and then the Xbox 360 had the S model, you know, and then longer down the line they had the E model. Never got into the E model, but I traded off my PlayStation 3 Slim at one point for an Xbox 360 E model. So, we did that. And I lasted in that generation for many, many years. I was also late to the next generation after that. I was late into the Xbox One, slash PlayStation 4 generation. So, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. After that, I did break into the next generation. At which point, I saved up enough money because I was working at the time. I was working 2 or 3 jobs at the time, so I had the money. Went and got myself an Xbox One. Yeah. It was good. I loved it. The Modern Warfare Edition, more specifically. The original, yeah, that was good stuff right there. Got that, and then I actually went to the midnight launch of Halo, the Master Chief Collection at GameStop. I know. You don't have to say it. GameStop. Enough said, right? Anyway, did that, and we all know how that goes. It wasn't necessarily a flop right off the bat, but there was a lot of crapola that came along with it. Big, huge, enormous update that you had to download. At the time, I had a really slow DSL connection of like 1.4 kilobytes per second, which was absolutely insane. So it took me somewhere like 28 hours to download the update file. But I love that. And I stuck with that for a very, very long time in my mind anyway. It wasn't until many years later I broke out and got a PlayStation 4. Oddly enough, got the PlayStation 4 while I was in the military. Goes to show you how long it actually took, right? After that, had that for a while. Anyway, after I left that PlayStation 4, I went into the Xbox One X, which is actually still what I have to this day in my living room that you can't see sitting in front of me. And I love that thing. I absolutely love that thing. I never got rid of it, never did anything with it. I did wind up having a PlayStation 5 for a very brief period of time, but I did wind up selling it. No, I didn't scalp it, if that's what you're going to ask next. I sold it at MSRP with about 3 weeks of use on it. I actually wound up losing $40 on the deal. Yes, I am not a scalper. And for all y'all that are scalping out there, karma's a real thing. Anyway, we'll leave that subject. So from there, I got rid of my PlayStation 5 and then broke into the PC side of things, which is where I'm at now. And you will see my PC stuff in future videos, all that good stuff. Alright, so we got my personal stuff out of the way. Y'all know about me now. Got the video game stuff out of the way. You know my background on video games. Now let's get into what this channel is really going to be about. Well, simply put, it's not going to be about specifically anything. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that, oh, this is going to be just about tech reviews or just about unboxings. No, it's going to be about everything in life in general. So a lot of unboxings, you're going to see a lot of gameplay videos, you know, commentary on various things. It doesn't matter what it is. You might see a lot of like vlogs, things like that, just things in real life that matter to people. I'm not just going to focus on one thing, is really what it comes down to. You know, so this channel really doesn't have a specific focus point is what it comes down to, and I don't want it to. I want it to be for you guys, for the viewers. I know this is my first video, you're like, what is this guy talking about? Completely understandable, I haven't even broke into YouTube yet. But I just want to give you a little bit of a background as to what this is going to be, and that is nothing specifically. It's going to be about all the good tech stuff. Retro video games, all that stuff. Oh, that is something I did forget to mention. I am a huge retro gamer. So whatever gameplay videos that do come up, or commentary videos, anything like that, you're going to see a lot of retro stuff. So you will be seeing a lot of retro videos popping up on this channel. I'm not going to sit here and say there's not going to be anything newer, but you're probably going to see like 75% retro as opposed to everything that's newer. So let's say 75% retro gaming and 25% of newer games, if that's what you want to call it. That pretty much wraps this Hello World video up, guys. And I really do appreciate you guys watching, and I really can't thank you enough. And go ahead and please follow me on YouTube, GameSharkY2K. You'll find me on Twitch. That'll be coming up soon within the next coming weeks. Also, under the same name, GameSharkY2K. You know, watch my first live broadcast. It'd be awesome to have y'all there. Hang out, chat with me. It's going to be a very clean community. No drugs, nothing like that, because I'm not that type of person. I want to bring clean content to the people. I don't want any toxicity, so please don't bring that along. No toxic stuff, no garbage comments. You know, keep it clean, guys. Come on, keep it real, Thank you everybody for watching. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. You know, stay safe, God bless, and peace out for now. I will catch you guys later.